Hello and welcome to another episode of the Breakaway. Vibes are immaculate this morning because we watched those last two Lightning games and they were pretty good, David.
They were good because those boys were not messing around, and this morning we're not messing around either. We're going to be dissecting the recent offensive explosion, going one-on-one with Bolts forward Connor Sherry. We're talking about fatherhood, his first year on the team as well. Plus, for the first time this season, my favorite segment, we're bringing out the checking line to see what these players are rocking when they enter the arena on game day.
All right, so let's get moving with the Lightning round and whip right through some need-to-know facts. The Bolts begin their 5-game road trip tonight against Florida at 6 o'clock. The Panthers currently lead the league in points with 94. This is the final regular season meeting between the two teams, with Florida winning the previous two matchups inside AMALIE Arena. The first was by a 3-2 score. Then they got smashed nearly a month ago, 9-2, David.
Yeah, those boys did not forget about that. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay is hot heading down Alligator Alley, scoring 13 times in its last two matchups. The Bolts beat the Flyers 7-0 before taking down the Rangers 6-3 following 4 days off. It felt like an up-and-down homestand, but the Lightning grabbed 7 out of a possible 10 points, which you'll take every time.
Yeah, you will. In those two wins, Nikita Kucherov tallied 6 total points, and we have quite the battle for the Art Ross Trophy. Nathan McKinnon of Colorado leads by 3, but the Avs have also played one more game than the Bolts. Connor McDavid is also making moves, so this is a nice trio here,
It
David.
certainly is. Now, while Cooch had 6 points in 2 games, Braden Point did that in 1 against the Rangers. That ties a franchise record with Cooch, because who did it earlier this year? Doug Crossman also did it. Pointer is hotter than the Tampa summer, lighting the lamp 11 times in his last 12 games. He also has 19 points during that time span. He is 4 goals away from hitting 40 for the 3rd time in his career.
Yeah, he's amazing. Pointer was tying a franchise record Thursday, but it was Darren Radish last Saturday against Philly who had a career night. He is the only defenseman in Bolts history to record 5 apples in a game. He's the 3rd Lightning player to accomplish the feat, joining Martin St. Louis and Mark Recchi, who both did it nearly 15 years ago.
Now let's talk about the Duke. Anthony Duclair, one of the newest Bolts who is fitting in nicely, scoring in his first 2 games with the club. He is the 3rd Lightning player in history to score in back-to-back games to begin his tenure in Tampa Bay. It's obvious the acquisitions of Duclair and Dumba have pumped some positive vibes into this group.
You know, they're vets in the league, and they've made deep playoff runs before. They know what it takes to try and get into the playoffs, and by no means are we in there yet, but to give ourselves a chance, I think Julian did a heck of a job of bringing in some guys that kind of fit our mentality, our skill set, and have that common goal to get in and see what we can do.
So here is a look at the wild card standings. Tampa Bay has built a tiny bit of a cushion, but the Islanders, Red Wings, and Capitals are not too far behind. Also, the Sabres and even the Devils can still go on a run. David, how much weight are you putting into this most recent surge when talking about the Lightning heading into their final 16 games?
Much more than a grain of salt. That is for sure. I mean, we just talked about it, right? 13 goals in those victories against Philly and New York. That win against the Rangers, seriously impressive. Remember, they were down 2-0 after that first period, ended up winning by 3. Dave Andreychuk told me that the other teams in the East probably don't want to see Tampa Bay in the playoffs. I tend to agree because Thursday night showed us why.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Dave there. And I'm buying this stretch, but not because of the offense. The defense, in the last 6 games, I think they've played 5 bad periods of hockey, and 3 of those were against the Calgary Flames. So, yeah, I'm buying them. All right, let's move to the shootout now. Someone who deserves some love is Connor Sherry. After snapping a 35-game scoreless drought against Calgary last Thursday, he scored again the very next contest against Philadelphia. I sat down with Sherry to talk about his transition to Tampa Bay, fatherhood, and what makes this team so special heading into the home stretch of the season. Connor, what is your first impressions of the Tampa Bay area? Obviously, there's a lot of new blood on this team, you being one of them.
When I got here in September, right away, it just felt like, they knew what they were doing around here. It was, the guys were awesome, the staff was awesome, the city was great. Everything was so welcoming, and right away we felt comfortable, my family and I, and it's been a great experience for me so far.
What has that transition been like for you?
Yeah, it's definitely different. I think I've been in similar locker rooms before where there's that, veteran leadership group, and then there's the young guys coming up, and then you find me somewhere in the middle. And I come to the locker room with some experience, and to look around the room, it feels like I don't have any, and that's a good thing because I can still learn my way through it.
How tough was it this season starting off and then hitting that injury and then having to kind of ramp back up again and get into the swing of things?
Yeah, you want to come in and make an impression right away. My game is all about hard work and kind of getting dirty in a way. And I felt like I was finding that before the injury, but you know that happens throughout my career in this league.
What is the balance there of being able to devote the time to, you know, your profession, your craft, and then also coming home and having to deal with, you know, a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old?
Yeah, I think my full-time job is probably more at home than it is here at the rink. But no, my kids are great. It's hard to come home in a bad mood when they're running up to you and, you know, saying, "Daddy's home." You know, that stuff's super exciting. And now we also have a third on the way.
When's the third one coming?
June.
Is 3 the stoppage point, or we're gonna keep chugging around for more?
Yeah, I thought maybe 2 was the stoppage point. I don't know. No, we don't really have a number. I think we'll kind of take it as we go, but 3 for now.
Poked out there by Sherry, trying to keep it going. He does. He scores! Connor Sherry goals in back-to-back games.
As we do approach the playoffs and hopefully a playoff run, just what does this group learn throughout the season about themselves?
Well, we've had kind of segments throughout the season where at the beginning of the year we were kind of struggling, and you know, I think right before the break, around December, January, we really found our stride where we had an identity. Our power play, our penalty kill were great. Our 5-on-5 game was good. You know, you want to be building towards the playoffs. You don't want to be the best regular season team. You want to be the best team in playoffs. And I think what I've learned through my experiences is if you find your game at the right time and you come together as a group and play together, I think you can do amazing things, and we definitely have the people in this room to do that.
All right, time for the check-in line. This is where we take a look at what some of the players are rocking with heading to the arena on game day. David and I had fun with this, searching through all the photos, and we're going to start with one of the new guys, Matt Dumba.
Clean look. Clean look. He's got the dinner jacket on. I know some people say, why are you wearing a tie with a dinner jacket? It actually works, but I have a challenge for you, Dumba. Next time, try a bow tie. See how that works out.
And look at the feet heat. Right?
Look at that. That's sweet.
That is a nice look.
That's
all right.
sweet.
All right, so let's go to the next guy here, Calvin DeHaan.
All right. You got pattern on pattern. That's a no-no, okay? You can't have a checker pattern here and then you got stripes here. You got to choose one, or just ditch the tie and let the jacket do all the singing.
But let's talk about the positives. Love the length here of the pants, right length, and the glasses are also a nice touch.
It's a good touch.
Moving on to the CEO, Steven Stamkos.
Hey, man, let's talk about this watch. This is I've won some Stanley Cups watch, right? You know you the man with this watch. I like the pocket square, goes with the shirt. I would ditch the tie on this one, go no tie, let all this jacket, all this pattern right here, pants and jacket, let that do the singing.
Yeah, I'm okay with this. This suit is A++.
Absolutely.
All right. Finally, we got our last one here, Nick Perbix, and I was unfamiliar with your game.
I was unfamiliar with this game too. I love this suit. I have no negative notes here. Everything about this, I kind of want this suit now. So we just, let me know your size. Let me know your size.
and again, I want to look at the feet here. No socks, which is a very popular
That's a
look
good
now,
news.
and that works. But Nick Perbix, I didn't see this coming, and a clean shave as well. All right, time to finish up our show with our 3 stars, and we're heading to Bridgeport, Connecticut, where Islanders prospect Ruslan Iskhakov was lining up for a shootout attempt, and my goodness, we got to roll this one back. In my opinion, you should get a call-up once that happens, because it takes serious knuckle pucks to do that in game action.
Knuckle pucks. Oh, all right. Now, the same can be said for our 2nd star, Wild head coach John Hines. With his team in overtime against the Preds, Hines went for the 2 points by pulling his goalie to gain a 4-on-3, and as you see, it worked immediately. Now, if the Predators had scored on that empty net, the Wild would have gotten 0 points for the game, but Hines said they wanted 2 and only 2. That's what he got.
Yeah, that was impressive. Our first star goes to none other than John Tortorella. With the 2004 Cup team getting honored and Dave Andreychuk, plus Brad Richards going into the Bolt Hall of Fame, Torts ran his mouth to the refs on the bench, got ejected, and then refused to leave. After a couple of minutes, he finally went down the tunnel. But he was given a 2-game suspension and issued a $50,000 fine for what the league called unprofessional conduct. After all these years, man, Torts, You've never changed.
Never changed, buddy. Never changed. Checking out our breakaway picks records. Evan and I had the same choices. We both went 1-1, so I am still in the lead slightly heading into our first 3-game week. I'm going to go first.
Yep.
I've got the Lightning getting at least a point in each of these games over the next week. I do have them losing, but in overtime tonight in Sunrise, they will handle business against Vegas and San Jose. They should be able to handle that.
All right, this is going to get interesting this week because I have the Bolts upsetting Florida tonight in Sunrise. They're ticked off. Then traveling out to Vegas, starting the West Coast road trip. Think they get a little slow out of the gate, so I have them with a loss there, but they'll beat San Jose and log a different kind of 2-1 week. That's going to do it for us. Thank you for joining us on the Bolts Breakaway this morning. Remember, the puck drops in Sunrise against the Panthers at 6 o'clock. For David Sheely, I am Evan Klosky. This is the Breakaway. We have more Bright Side coming up right after the break.